Hey, Cannonball Nation! It is January 2nd, 2025, and we are fresh off the new year. Christmas and New Year's and all the things. Super excited to be here today. I'm excited to see all your lovely faces again. I know this year's AEP, OEP was ultra challenging. And I'm not sure if we all made it through wholly, like the whole part of us. I think I left some body parts and things back in 2024, as I'm sure the rest of you did as well. And I'm excited to be rolling into 2025. Um, I always enjoy the beginning of the year, especially with the team, because we get to reflect on what went right, what went wrong, what we need to improve on, and ultimately our goals for 2025, right? Looking towards the future. I have some things to share with you guys today that I have built this week as I'm looking towards 2025 for the home office. And y'all, I built out a tool for you guys that everyone is going to get. I will get into that in a minute. I'm also building out an entirely new classroom. So our current classroom will stay put, probably indefinitely because it's free, it doesn't cost me anything, and there's a ton of content there. But I am building out an entirely new classroom. It's going to be more of a database classroom. So how many of you have ever been on maybe somebody else's the school classroom type accounts? One of y'all? Maybe two. It's a pretty cool community. And what I particularly like about it is there's a section for the trainings, like the video uploads. There's a section for the communities for like just the questions in chat, because a lot of us chat through Facebook Messenger and things. And sometimes stuff gets a little bit lost in there. I think the chats are actually really great for questions and stuff, but I wanted to figure out a way to make it in all in one spot. So the community conversations will be held in there. The classroom, so the trainings will be held in there. There's a calendar in there for you guys, so I can link all the trainings, and you can literally click to join a Zoom on a click of a button for all the trainings we're going to do this year. There will be leaderboards within there for people who share and like and comment, which is fun too. And it's just a really, really neat tool. So I will be building that out in Q1. Hopefully have it up and running for you guys by the end of January for some stuff to get in there. So expect to see that in the near future. It's called School with a K. I've been involved in a couple other groups that use it for about 6 months now, and I actually really like it. It just makes it kind of like a hub, which I think for future use will be easier. And then I have a feeling, and he doesn't know I'm doing this yet, and he's on vacay this week, but I have a feeling DeLawrence can pop in the link to school in your all CRMs. So literally, if you're in your CRM, you can just click on it and jump into school from there. So super excited about that. I think it'll be a great use tool for us. I looked into it. It's actually not that expensive. I actually thought it was going to be a whole lot pricier than it is. So I'm excited to get it built out for you guys. Thursday trainings. I will continue to do Thursday trainings on 2025, but there's going to be a slight time change. And there will be a new Zoom link next week. So watch for that. It'll be a different link. This is the last day this link will work. And we're going to adjust it to 4:30 instead of 4. So it'll be 4:30 Central Time. And the reason I'm adjusting it a little bit to 4:30 is because I got several moms in the group. And I know a lot of y'all are in pickup lines and driving between like 3 and 4. And a lot of times you're late to the meetings because you're stuck in a pickup line or something. And even for myself with Cannon, if I want to run get Cannon, he gets out of school 3:35. It makes it a bit of a rush if I wanted to actually pick him up from school. So I am going to bump it back to 4:30. So it'll be 30 minutes later in 2025 on the Thursday meetings. Now, our meeting schedule is going to be very revamped for next year. This will be the only meeting of the week. That's a scheduled meeting every week that I will personally be hosting. You're actually going to get more trainings in 2025, but a little less of me. So you'll get to experience some other trainings. Melissa is not aware of this yet, and neither is Delawrence because they've been out of the office this week. But in 2025, Melissa is going to run a very specific weekly training on Canva and the tools and how to
Yay.
use it and how to build out your own marketing.
Nice.
And DeLawrence is going to run a weekly boss meeting for all of those using the CRMs
Nice.
and with a new tip of the week every week in boss and how to keep your CRM moving slowly. So a little less of the chatter of me, but you're going to get some little more hyper specific training on the tools that I personally think everybody should be really using and focusing on. Because if you're not, those are two massive tools that I use in my business every stinking day, 8 hours a day. We live in them. And if you're not living in them,
Mm.
that means you're not using all your tools properly. So I really want to hyper focus on some things that way. Especially with the new training classroom that I'm building out, a lot of my trainings will be very more strategic and put in there. I will pull some of my old trainings in there that are still very much relevant, especially a lot of the business building ones I did last year. And then I'm also going to pre-record content on specific topics that I'm going to drop in there as well. So when we have somebody that's maybe going from a single agent to an agency and how to set that up, or somebody just renewing licenses, how to do that. So where it's strategic training that if you need it at any given time throughout the year because your business is changing, you can just go grab it and we don't have to worry about having it coming up on a current training. So it'll be in there for you. So you'll get a little more of pre-recorded training from me this year in that new classroom style. And then, but you'll be seeing me every Thursday at 4:30 after today for 2025. I don't know the other days yet for the other two trainings because I have to get with Melissa and DeLawrence and figure out what are the days that are going to work best for them in their schedules. But as soon as I know, you'll know. Now, I'm also starting, some of you know this, and it is a specialized group for our team leaders. So we have people that are running agencies currently under Cannonball, whether they have LOAs or downlines. We're doing something very specific for them as far as training goes, so we can talk out on how to run the team, because that's a very different type of training than growing our personal businesses. So I will be hosting those trainings as well. So watch, my team leaders watch for those emails. I did send out one, I think it was either the beginning of this week or the end of last week, with a polling question for you guys to try to figure out timeline, like mornings or afternoons, whichever is better for you. And then if you're not a team leader yet, but if you develop into one, you will automatically be invited to join those as well, because those are very specific to people who are helping either with employees or downlines building, because we'll get way more into the building blocks of HR and stuff like that, which for some of you doesn't mean anything to you because you're a one-man show, you're going to stay a one-man show, and those trainings are not important to you and they kind of bore you. But for some of us, they're super important. So we're going to separate out some of that stuff a little bit more and get a little more drilled down to what each training actually is about, which I think might help you all too in 2025 when you're trying to focus on what you want to grow your business on specifically. Now, something I build it out, I put Mark Wine's name on it because he's normally with us and he doesn't ever mind me sharing. So I used him as my guinea pig, but let me get my screen pulled up for you guys. All right, can y'all see that giant spreadsheet?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm building here is, it seems very basic, and it kind of is, but what it's going to do on the back end for each and one of you should make your lives a lot more simpler, especially for those of you that are single agents, or potentially for those of you that have small like group of employees. This might be super helpful for you on what we're going to be able to do with this spreadsheet on the back end for you as the year goes on. So everybody's going to get their own personal spreadsheet. The only people that will have access to it is myself, you, and Orlando in the office, who runs our commissions and accounting. So this is going to be your 2025. We're calling this the 2025 opportunity sheet. And I can build this out to be in some ways very specific. Now, these are our headers, but like here I have agent assigned. The only one I have in here is Mark, because currently Mark is a solopreneur. But let's say, let's see who's on. Tom, I could put Tom, I could put Sandra, and then I believe he has an office rep. I could put her in there. So then they can just drill down and pick in the office who the lead went to or the opportunity went to. So this can be flexible. Now, the type is Medicare, ACA, State Exchange Group, Life, and Other. And the reason we're giving it a type is one, for easy access for y'all to know at first glance what the lead or the opportunity is, and that will help decide where you want it to go. Plus, on the back end, when it sorts into big, beautiful graphs for you all, you're going to have these blocks of columns of Medicare, ACA, group, life, etc. Now, this also can be edited a little bit. So say you don't do group at all, or you don't do state exchange at all, I can remove that for you to where it makes sense for your business. Then we put client name. We put the state in there because it does differ on where you're going to quote, right? Phone and email. This is not meant to be your CRM. So notice I don't have their address and all the things. I just have a basic database basically of who they are and how to get a hold of them. That's just for you. This is not your CRM. And then current action step. Is it new? Like, have we not done anything with it? I just got it today. I haven't received it. Am I currently calling, texting, or emailing them? Have I quoted them? Have I sold them? Are they not responding? Are they lost? Okay. And then contact attempts. We have 1 through 12. That means I called them once, I've called them twice, I called them 6 times, I called them 12 times. In my office, I do not consider a lead dead until we've at least contacted 12 times. Statistics shows most of the sales are actually done on the 12th call, believe it or not.
Wow.
So we do not kill a lead or put it into Melissa's automation chain of just, reaching out through automation until we've gone through it 12 times. It will circle my office and go to the different salespeople until we've hit onto it 12 times. And that's not 12 mix of calls, texts, and emails. No, that's 12 calls, 12 texts, 12 emails. Because the way I teach my agents, you call, text, email every time you make contact. If you double and triple dial, you do not get to count that as 3 attempts. That is 1 attempt. You called, they didn't answer, you called right back, you called right back. That's 1 attempt. That is not 3 attempts. And I do recommend doubling and triple dialing your leads, especially your seniors. Half the time, it takes them that long just to get to the phone if it's on the counter or to hear it. And if you do get somebody that's cranky, because I get this question all the time, well, what if they get mad because I called them 3 times and be like, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know it was going through on my end. It just kept hanging up. And then you're like, so since I got you, like, you just go with it. Nobody argues. How many times have you called somebody and your phone's not working, right? It happens all the time. They're not going to think anything of it. Forms completed. So we have a specific intake form. We have, if they've been scoped, if they ACA, if they have an attestation, and then I'm calling this a deck page. So in our office, for the sale to be turned in, they need to have an intake form, their scopes, their attestation, if it's ACA, and a copy, the front page of their policy. So if Medicare Center, I'd be printing off that front Medicare page. Sometimes we print off the whole application, but we need like the highlights I'm looking for. In ACA, we're printing off that front page of their Health Sherpa account once it's all locked and loaded. We print off that front page where it shows who's active on the policy, the date it was written, the carrier that was sold, the price of it, and that we have the attestations. We print that off for it to be a finished sale, which gets handed off to my service team to get put into the CRM. So those 4 things, or Medicare, it'd be 3 things because they don't have an attestation on Medicare. But those forms need to be in the bundle of anything else they might have. They might have pages and notes or something. But those forms are mandatory before it is a fully closed out sale and is ready for the service desk. And the thing about this, I got the intake, great. Oh, I got them scoped yesterday. Oh, finally got the attestation and the deck page. You can highlight them all. And so you can see
Nice.
everything you have. I'll spread this out a little bit. So you can see that you got them all. If you say they're an ACA and you got an intake form, a scope, and a deck page, you don't got the attestation, you do not have a fully qualified closed sale. You're missing a piece. You got to go back and fix it before you turn it in. And this will also let you know for personally when you're not turning it into your staff, but where you're at in the process. Uh-oh, I did an intake form and I have a deck page. Did I forget to scope? No, there's no way I forgot to scope my Medicare client. Let me go back and check, right? And then let's say you did scope, but it was a verbal scope. And so you can't really down that. So you're going to put in your notes, verbal scope taken, stored in Drive or wherever you put your verbal scopes, right? So you can have a note to that client. So if you ever need to go back, you have a running note. And any notes in here, you can always copy and paste into your CRM if they're important to you for that purpose. So I really like the fact that you can kind of see in real time where you're at on your forms. Now, I also put in how it's generated. Is it a client referral? Is it an agent referral? Is it a paid ad of any form? Organic social media, a grassroots event, mailers, or Medicare 101. So you can find out where this lead was come from and then mark it off. The notes section is for your personal notes, whatever you need. And then the very last column is carrier sold. Now, I'm not looking for policy. I don't care that you sold the BCBS Texas Silver HMO 206 Plus plan. That's not what I'm looking for. I just want to know that you sold BCBS Texas. And the reason we want that, or Humana, or, Scott and White, the reason we want the carrier sold is so if you ever have a commissions issue, we know exactly what carrier we need to go look at. Orlando doesn't need to know what you sold. He just needs to know it's Medicare and it was Humana. And he will get that from this form if he ever has to go back and fight a commission issue for you or figure out what's wrong. Now, this form, and I have no idea how I got a big red line across this. I don't know where that came from. All of this data, though, specifically the tabbed data, carrier, this will go into a spreadsheet or a graph type spreadsheet for you guys. So you're going to fill this out. It's all you got to do. And from this, we're going to extract the data and we're going to create you a board so you can see how many sales you did this month, how many was Medicare, how many was ACA, how many was dental. You're going to be able to see your closing ratio. So I got 10 leads, but only closed 2. Well, what happened? That gives me data where I can pull, Tina out and be like, Tina, I saw where you got 20 leads this week from your event, but you only closed 2. What's going on? Are they not answering? Do they already have a plan? Do we need to work on our pitch, our presentation, right? It's good for you. It's good for me to help you personally when it comes to one-on-one tactics. Now, again, nobody else is going to have access to you but you, me, and Orlando. So there's no fear here. Nobody's going to see this. Nobody else is going to see your graph. Okay. We can all see that information already if we really wanted to dig for it. But I don't really want to take the 100 man hours it's going to take to track down your 10 sales this month, when if you just took 2 seconds and marked them on a spreadsheet for us, we could give you this data like that.
Mhm.
And then you're going to see this for the entire year. This is going to be a running sheet for the entire year. And you will be amazed how much good information you're going to be able to learn about yourself, your ROI, your cost of doing business. This is going to help you with.
Just FYI. Yeah.
Rebecca, can I ask a question?
Sure.
The forms, the copies of the whatever you were saying that we needed, can we just put those in because I do everything online. I don't print out stuff.
You don't have to print it. This is just for your knowledge that I
Okay.
got the intake form. I got the scope. I have all of that.
Okay.
Yes, I
Okay.
have it all. Because in my opinion, you're not in a completed sale unless you have all those things, whether it's digitally printed in your CRM. It doesn't matter where you store it or how you get it. That's not the point here. The point is to know that I have a truly finished, closed out sale. Everything on my end has been done. I'm organized and it's accounted for. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So some of the things that the CMS is really watching is some of this due diligence, and they can actually see, I got a new report just 2 days ago about our ratio compared to the actual enrollment center, how many people we submitted without social securities, how many people did we submit without this or that, and this will help track that, monitor that stuff. I'm going to refresh this because I have no idea how that big red line got on there. Nope, it's still there.
Thank you.
I'm going to have Jeremy look at that. I have no idea why I haven't done it.
So-
There when I start.
Rebecca,
Yes, ma'am.
this is so like we do something similar to this, not with the action steps and whatever, and I add they need a thank you card, and if whether that's been sent, that's kind of on there, like to keep track of referrals. Is this similar to that? And I'm going to be probably moving that over here because I don't want to have it other places. You know what I mean?
We can add, like I said, when we custom build this out for you specifically, we can add a couple of drill downs if you want, so you can just move that stuff to this form. That's fine. But those are the kind of things, in my opinion, that should be in your CRM. Like I sent a thank you card.
Yeah, I put it in there, but I haven't found a way that made sure I got it, like the referrals, especially that come in. And I guess I have another page that's the person who sent the referral. Yeah, so these are the sales.
So I could, let's say this was yours and you were very interested in having the thank you card. I could just do that. Apply to all. And then now I have the thank you card in there.
There
So
you
you
go.
can just add that as a tag that you've done it. So it's easy peasy to add and take away things like that.
Okay.
That's needed specifically for you. And actually the thank you card's not a bad one. We do thank you cards too. My service team generally does the thank you card, though not the sales team.
Yeah, and I discovered that I had fortunately I've had enough referrals come in that I was like losing track of who they are and where they come and thanking people, and all that kind of has gotten to be.
Yep. So now the thank you for this, for Mark's page, whether he wanted it or not, he has a thank you card. And I might just leave that on there because I have a feeling all y'all do thank you cards, and it might be a good way for you to track, especially if you're kind of using this as a mini CRM. So this isn't your CRM. Everybody has access to a CRM, but let's say you're in a early new and you're not using a CRM yet, and you're not don't think you quite need one yet. You don't want to go to that length. You just need a database to store stuff. You can absolutely use this for that. And in the notes section, you can add in like a place to keep their address. You could just add in their address in the notes, or I could add an address profile to yours if you really want one. But the idea of this is not to be a CRM replacer. This is supposed to be just literally like a sales tracker. We used a sales tracker all year, or all open enrollment period rather. And everybody in my team had it. And I kid you not, when a client called in, because our CRM probably wasn't current because we were so busy selling and renewing, when a client called in that had already been worked, I could literally go on the sales tracker, type their name in, and look at everybody's sheets, because we have everybody like this, but then in different tabs at the bottom. So I could type in one name and look at all sheets and figure out who the heck sold them or renewed them and what they put them on. And then either I could answer the question from there, depending on what they're asking, or I knew exactly who I needed to transfer the call to for those of you at Teams. It was super helpful and so much faster than trying to go read pages of CRM notes. When you're talking just quick on the fly stuff at a glance, this is like your at a glance calendar, right? We all have our calendars. We have our big calendar, and then we have a quick at a glance calendar. This is kind of like your at a glance system. You'll have your big system, your big boss system, or whatever you're using for all the stuff. But when you're just like on the road, because the thing about Google Sheets, you can have this on your phone and just pull it up quickly on the road, and you can quickly see where you're at with somebody, quickly find a phone number if you need to call them back really quickly, things like that. But I think the goal here truly is what you're going to get out of it on the back end when you get to see your true ROI and your sales percentages and your tracking. Any other questions on this? Okay. Oh, I hit stop share and my red line went away. So that was something to do with the sharing. I emailed out, I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before, I don't remember now, a reflection sheet. So that was actually agent pipeline sheet. I got it, I looked at it, and I really liked it. So I did send it all to you. I would really like for y'all to sit with that sheet and do the work, right? And then later in the month, I'm going to pull the sheet out and we're going to have a conversation and talk through the sheet. Some of you I'll call on, some of you we may want to discuss privately, depending on when you did your sheet, how you felt about it. Some of you might feel really good about it, and some of you may feel a little lost or behind, and you may want to have a little deeper dive about your sheet, and we can schedule a one-on-one for that. But ultimately, I want to go through the questions on a training and just kind of have that conversation as a group in January. I think it'll be really good for everybody, and kind of to see where you're at, and kind of hear other people's pros and cons and go through the sheet like that together. So please look for that email if you haven't seen it. Find the sheet, download it, print it, or do it digitally. It don't matter to me. Just do it. And then if you do get it done, go ahead and email it to me so I can have a copy of it as well and put it in your file. So when we do talk privately, that I'll have that to reference. Aslan, are you sick or cold?
Cold. Always.
And Tina's cooking. What are we cooking, Tina? You're muted.
I'm actually just going through paperwork. I'm listening and going through paperwork
Oh.
for
Well,
insurance
you're
stuff.
in your typical kitchen cooking stance, so I thought you were cooking again.
Well, I was going to, but my neighbor, there's so many people that are wanting to cook for him now. He's like, Tina, you've set a trend. So anyhow, I don't have to cook for him tonight, so I'm off tonight.
Oh, very good. Very good. So next week, you will have a new link. Remember that. I will be traveling that day as well. So I don't know. We're definitely going to have the meeting. Don't stress over that. We're definitely doing it. I just don't know if we'll be doing it from an airport lounge or from a motel room or where I'll be exactly. But I'm headed to Tennessee next week. Monday meetings are still no. That's part of the revamp of the meeting structure. So still no money. The only meeting right now until we get the new structure in place is going to be Thursdays. So put this Thursday's guaranteed at 4:30 moving forward. So for sure. Now, once I get the other meetings restructured, you will get an email and an update on that. And then, as I said, I'm hoping to get the school new thing built out enough to where towards the end of the month, I can start inviting you to it and you can start using it. So all the meeting links will be in there and the new discussion will be there. And hopefully some of the training videos will be loaded. Getting the training videos in there will be a year-long process. But they will be in there. And then our 2025 Zooms that I put into the classroom, these will go in there. They won't go into the classroom. So we'll start using that for all the new videos for 2025 as well. That'll be a separate tab where you can just go watch the Zooms.
Will the
for the year.
classroom still be open for us?
Yes, the
Rebecca?
classroom is Lifeline. It will never close. It's
Okay,
a free
okay.
thing, so there's absolutely no reason for me to close it. There's tons of information in there. And like I said, some of it I will extract and put it into the school as well. But the school is going to be kind of our new mastermind, the kind of the heartbeat of Cannonball trainings, conversations, and things. There'll be links to probably like the Facebook groups and all this stuff. It's just going to be like a hub for everything we do. So you can kind of go in and out of things all from one place, which should kind of, I think, clean up some of the confusion we have. Because I know I do have a lot of different places to connect with me and do things. So hopefully this will streamline that for you guys.
Hey, Rebecca, I got a question. See if you know this. On the commission statements, there's something that says UAD on there, and is that about a chargeback that we would get? Because when you Google it, it talks about money providers haven't been paid. We don't care if providers get paid. We care if we get paid. So on the United Healthcare, on the commission sheet, there's a thing, and I've never paid any attention to this. I've had somebody ask me a question about it, says UAD. Are you familiar with that at all?
Not without looking.
I Googled it and it talks about providers being owed money.
Is it only on United's?
Yeah.
I can't hear you, Sandra.
Just talk about it.
Oh my God. Okay, so I looked at my commission statement and my UAD.
We can't hear her. She needs to get closer to the mic.
Oh. Okay. We'll just scoot the computer towards you. All right, was you went on your commission statement and what did it say?
Zero.
It said zero. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've always said zero. I haven't seen the
So
UAD.
I don't pay attention.
But I
So
had an
does
agent
this-
ask, what does UAD mean?
I mean, if it says zero, I wouldn't necessarily stress over it, but
All right, so
I'm sure
thinking
we
it
can
might be
have we can have Orlando dig into it. But no, I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know
wondering if
off
it's
the
a
top of my head.
carryover from providers. That's on their sheet, because I know the only time I've ever carried a negative balance was with Humana. I've never had a negative UAD or anything. It's unpaid debits that the insurance company owes you, is what it says.
Oh, so
The
that
UA
might be where when they do their yearly, because some carriers, charge for the appointments now. That might be where that charge for the appointment goes under.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll also call producer help desk from commission on there to see. I thought I'd ask you. I wasn't
Yeah,
sure because
Orlando
I'd never heard of it.
office may
I'd
know
never
off the
seen
top
it
of his
before.
head. I mean, I rarely look at commission reports anymore. I just look at his report.
Yeah.
So if you want to email him, it's commissions@kbisolutionsllc.com, and he can probably tell you. I mean, he's in office today. He could probably tell you today
Okay.
and
An
save you all
idea
that time.
is the Lawrence bringing his printers back with him?
Oh yeah, the printers are in the other room. We don't have them up yet because there's still too much dust and stuff, but the drywall is up. Most of it's been textured. We're hoping to have that building done by March is the goal.
Okay. All right.
All right, guys. Any specific questions for the new year? Any stories you want to tell us about AEP?
How about Baylor Scott and White, all the fact that they didn't get the contract done. First time ever, I've never seen a healthcare company not get the contract done with the doctor group in time. So Dallas Fort Worth will have a lot of movement. So the people at Humana that were counting on bonuses, yeah, January, they may lose some of their bonus money as all these Humana folks end up going over to United Healthcare.
Yeah.
So-
It'll be interesting. I know Blue Cross's payment system is a giant mess. I was talking to the Blue Cross rep the other day and I was sending him all the things we've seen wrong. And he's like, we're aware. I'm like, great. Are you going to extend it? He's like, I don't know. I haven't heard. Probably not. It's Blue Cross.
Rebecca, I have a question. Was wondering what everybody's putting people with under 65 for dental insurance if their kids need braces. I just, Manhattan Life, I usually put people with them or Humana, but is there any other carriers out there?
So for
That y'all are using?
orthodontia specifically in Texas, we use Blue Cross Pediatric Dental.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
And let's see. No, I'm not muted. And do you know that if you do just the children on that plan, because can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, yeah, that, because really the Manhattan Life is better for adults or whatever else you use. But if you put the
Right.
kids on there, it has to be a paper app. It's a real pain. So kids only is paper app.
I think that's all we actually normally do because for years it was only a paper app to begin with.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
And here's the trick about the paper app, just so you know, because it's like really long and there's like 3 pages of where you can add people to the household. But, most common people will be like, I don't need those 3 pages. I'm only doing 1. So you just toss them. They will not process the app unless every page in the application is there, whether you wrote something on it or not.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, do I
Just
have
so
to
you
put
know.
the NA and all that stuff on the other pages?
No, I just exit out. I just like
Okay.
cross it out if it's not relevant
Okay.
to my person.
All righty, thank you.
What else? What else we got? We're rolling into the new year. Who's excited? Are we ready for a new year? Or are we all still needing like more naps?
A little more naps, please.
I could use a couple more naps, ain't gonna lie. It actually took me, I probably didn't fully get motivated until this morning. This morning, I've been in my systems mad today. Now, I built out a lot of things from the couch over New Year's and the weekend with my laptop. So I kind of felt like I was in relaxation mode, but still productive that way, pajamas and couch with laptop. But that kind of got me started going because then I started thinking about like building these things out because I've built out a few other things that I'm going to share down the road with y'all. But ultimately today's when I finally kind of woke up and felt like I could breathe again finally. So I don't know if it's just finally getting through the holidays or just now I finally gotten kind of enough sleep in or something that tomorrow I might actually feel like getting dressed. That's the goal. I have to go to the office tomorrow, so they probably prefer it if I get dressed.
Can I get
Top.
real
Oh.
quick? Can I get a quick recap of what y'all went over at the beginning of the video? Because I came in right at the end of your little spreadsheet and I was like, what's going on?
Ooh, recap. So we're building out a whole new classroom in school. It's going to be an all-in-one platform. And that's not out yet, but it will be soon, hopefully. Thursday meetings are going to 4:30 with a new link. So this Zoom link will no longer be operational after today. We'll start with a new link for the rest of the year. And my Monday meetings are no longer going to happen. I'm implementing 2 other meetings that are more strategic with other team leads. It's kind of the main stuff.
Okay.
Your mom was here. She can fill you in.
I texted her. She never texted me back.
I did too text you back.
She texted me back about, I don't know. Okay. I just needed a quick read. I know you said something about the new school. Is that going to be like a web page built out?
It's a website. It's a full website.
Cool.
It's got many, many components. So there's a community component, there's a calendar component, there's a classroom component, it's cool. I think you'll really like it, Adlin.
Nice.
It'll streamline a lot of things. So once school is fully open, I'm going to shut down some of our ongoing chats just to try to keep everything in one place.
Cool. All right.
Everything as normal though until I get that launched for you guys. So hopefully towards the end of the month it should be ready. All right, guys. Well, that's all for me unless you have questions or concerns or something you want to dive into. We're good.
I have one question.
Oh, go ahead.
So on the chronic Medicare plans, does blood pressure count for cardiovascular? No, I didn't think so.
The
Okay.
easiest way, Aslan, to tell if somebody has like an SEP for chronic is to just get a list of their medications. Because
Okay.
a lot of people, they're like, oh, I just have high blood pressure, but they're taking warfarin. Warfarin automatically puts them into a chronic SEP because that is a blood thinner, which means they have other problems that either A, they don't understand or don't want to tell you about.
Well, I had her bring the chronic form to her doctor because she was like, I think I do. I don't know. And I'm like looking at her medications, nothing stands out to me. I was like, bring this to your doctor and have him email it back or whatever. And he sent it back and he checked yes on cardiovascular diseases and put HTN next to it. And I'm like, I don't think that counts, but I'll double check.
Yeah, no, just traditional high blood pressure on the ordinary does not. One other thing I want to tell you guys. So the agent trip, the top agent trip coming up in March, we should have the final winners out towards the end of January. So watch for the next release of that will be our winners. It is for the entire year of 2024, right? And so all your 1-1s are effective count. Your 1-2 effectives do not count, just for reference. So we're waiting for all the 1-1s to come in so we can finalize that report for you guys. And then for those of you that get to join us, this year's top agent trip is in Leavenworth, Washington, which I am super excited for. The hotel itself is everything in a bag of chips. I am so excited for this trip. And I've already saw a place yesterday, believe it or not, that popped up. Then I started looking at it that I think might be our 2026 next year's top agent trip. So I'm super excited for these. It's such a fun time to hang out with you guys that have worked so hard all year and have earned your spot. I'm also thinking about doing a get together for the entire team a little later in the year. So keep your eyes peeled for that as well. Lots of stuff coming in 2025. I'm super excited for another fun year. The first 9 months of the year is my favorite part of the year because I get to do all these things with you guys and for you guys. Where the last quarter of the year, I'm like buried in my own space. So take advantage of me for 9 months. And I can't wait to see you all. Layla, are we going to Chicago again this year? Do we need to figure that out?
Yeah, we need to talk about that. Mhm.
Okay, I had a feeling. So get with me and Melissa and let's figure that out and get that on the calendar sooner than later.
Are
Okay.
are we
Okay.
supposed to attend the Medicarian conference?
Medicarians is the weirdest conference I've ever been to. I ain't gonna lie. It
Okay.
is, if you want to get into politics of Medicare or ACA, um, or if you want to meet every agent manager in the country, then go to Medicarians. If those two things don't interest you, don't waste your money.
Okay. Got
I
it.
agree. It was kind of weird.
I
Hmm.
mean, if you're deep into it and you're, you know, kind of at a certain point where you want to know how policies and things are formed and you want to be able to get into the rooms and meet the people that kind of have that control, it's a very interesting conference. But if you think you're going to go there and come back with 14 new ideas on how to grow your business, you're not.
No. Okay.
What are
Okay.
some good ideas now? What are you doing right now to market and get new leads for OEP?
Are you asking or telling, or is this a Medicarian
Asking.
thing?
Just
Like, I'm
asking.
confused by your question.
Sorry. I'm like in my own little mind over here. I'm like trying to figure out OEP strategy.
So we're still on ACA OEP. So if you're talking about Medicare OEP or ACA OEP, depending on what you're asking, we're still
Both.
renewing. We have about another 500 people still left on the books to
Holy
renew. So
moly.
we're still renewing ACA. So I'm not really that focused on OEP new sales yet, although they are coming in. But ultimately, Valentine's Day is our next first holiday, big holiday that I like to do something with as far as like grassroots stuff. So get with your senior centers, get with your schools, wherever your people are that you know you want to target, and come up with an idea. Like I've done something as simple as hand out one long stem rose with a note card with our business card attached to individual people. I've walked down the streets, I've stood in street corners, I've gone into businesses and handed them out, I've handed them at the senior centers, I've gone into nursing homes and assisted living facilities and gone door to door, literally on foot, and hand these things out. And it's well received. I've had people cry on the street corner saying, "Oh my God, it's the first time anybody's ever given me a flower on Valentine's Day." Or, "Oh my
Aw.
God, I just lost my husband and he always bought me flowers. And it's the first year I'm not going to get them." It is more touching than you realize for people. So I would focus on Valentine's Day, Viola.
Okay.
You can start sooner than later, right? You can do it on Valentine's Day, but you can start gearing it up for it sooner if you want to hit multiple things. Um, you know, if it's ACA, you're still doing everything you do the other 9 months out of the year, right? You talk to small business owners, you talk to self-employed people, you get your organic marketing out there. You can do paid ad marketing. There are leads you can buy literally off of the Medicare Center website, even for ACA and Medicare. Last year, we actually had really good luck with the Medicare leads on integrity when we did the live call transfers. We opened those up for OEP last year because we actually had some little more downtime where we could take a live call. And we had about a 40% close ratio on those live calls last year. And we
Wow.
did open those up for OEP last year for Medicare. So with all the disruption, I would imagine there's lots of people still reaching out for help that are, you know, clicking on those ads and asking for help. So the live call might be really great for you if you're looking for some instant, not so much instant, but Medicare sales that come in your area. Now you can click like one area, you can do multiple areas, you can really design, you know, where do you want to take leads from? And the kind of the trick is anytime you're in front of a computer, I mean, unless you're stuck in meetings, I just have it as active on. That way they can see and they know they can transfer to you.
Okay. I did have one of my guys from last year, ACA. He was not really working. He had gotten laid off. He was a chef. Now he's a general manager at this restaurant. So I asked him if he could ask if I could go in and do a presentation for the employees, and he asked the owner and they said yes. So now I get to go in and do ACA there next week. So
Awesome.
yeah.
So, I mean, it truly is like, you know, we market basically year round. You should be marketing year round, unless you're just drowning in AEP. But we even marketed in AEP. You saw my Facebook post. I know you guys did. I'm still active on Facebook. I'm still active. My tables never go away. They're in the community. My billboards are always up. You know, my geo-targeting commercials are out there. Hulu is a fun way and an inexpensive way. If you want to kind of go to the next level and kind of get yourself on a TV, Hulu ads are really simple and pretty inexpensive in my opinion to do. There's all kinds of stuff, but this is should be year-round marketing. It's never strategic like to OEP, AEP. The only strategicness is T65, SCP, disaster. To me, those are strategic marketing. The rest of it, AEP, OEP, that is just typical year-round business. And everything you do to find one, that's what you use to find the other. So you just keep doing you. I see your posts. You just keep doing you.
Yeah.
But
thank
Valentine's
you.
is probably the next specific thing. If I'm going to target or hyper focus on something, especially on the grassroots side, is Valentine's.
Okay.
Pam, you always have to get appointed with the carriers to sell them. It does not matter the carrier. You need to get an appointment with it. If it's a carrier that's just in time, you still have to start the appointment. They just won't appoint you until you sell something. Standalone dental, standalone vision. Well, that depends. I mean, are you truly doing a standalone vision plan or are you wanting something all encompass? Manhattan is a great company. They have many, many options, dental, vision, hearing, usually all tied together. They have one product that you can kind of separate it out. Plus they have cancer, heart attack, stroke, life, gap insurance, accident insurance, all the things. And then Emeritus, if you're just wanting vision only. Emeritus is really great. It's inexpensive. You can also do dental combined with it, but it is a place you can do just a vision plan. United One also does a single vision plan that does dental. I'm actually probably moving away from United One. I sell very little of it, to be quite frank, and they want to charge you an appointment fee, a pretty hefty one every year for both yourself and your agency in every state you're going to offer their plan in. And
Wow.
I probably I mean, in the you guys have probably sold maybe one or two apps total amongst all you all with that carrier, and we don't write it very often. I used to write it for the short-term health component. Then they got kind of screwy with that, so I don't really write it, and I'm going to keep it for Texas. But otherwise, I'm probably not going to re-up the other states unless I see a real need for it. So Pam, I would focus on Emeritus for the vision. I actually have the vision myself. It worked great. I also have Manhattan Life on myself. It works great. Sometimes you have to be really privy on how to explain it to a client so they know how to properly use it, the language they need to tell the provider, because providers are really funny about dental and vision plans. Some are much better than others, but a lot of times you get hung up with provider relations. They go, they don't take it. Like, well, you're not asking the right question, but you got to teach them to ask the right question when you sell it to them. That way they're not calling you a month later, yelling at you because you sold them a crap plan. There is exact verbiage that you need to ask. And ultimately, you also need to know the carriers on who backs the carrier. So like when you think of like, we'll use Care and Care since they're out of business now. So when you had a dental plan on Care and Care, it wasn't Care and Care Dental. And so many of the clients would ask, do you take Care and Care Dental? And it's like, no, because Care and Care doesn't have a dental. You know, they were backed by DentaQuest. So the correct question was, do you take DentaQuest? That's a totally different conversation, right? And if you don't tell your client that ahead of time and prepare them to ask the question properly, they're always going to be a no and they're going to get very frustrated. We have lots of dental trainings, Pam, in the actual classroom that are all still very relevant. So go look at Emeritus and Manhattan Life. And Physicians Mutual is the other one we sell quite a bit of depending on your client's needs. Now, the Physicians Mutual app is terrible. I hate their app. And I have been telling Andrew this for 3 months now, and he's supposed to get with me, and we're going to redo their entire application process because it's terrible. And they would do 10 times the business if they would just fix their app. So he says they will try. And he wants to get with me to figure it out. But they have a really great dental and they do have vision too. But yes, you do need to be contracted.
Okay, thank you. And for dental also, I find that some people sign up, including me, sign up, and then I get something done and they don't cover half these dental codes. How do you find out if what dental codes they cover, and how would I know what dental codes are going to be submitted for what I'm getting done? I mean, it's like you sign up for something that covers implants and they cover 2 codes, and then there's 8 million other codes
Well,
that
I can tell you right now, nobody covers implants like you want implants covered. So just throw implants out the window. If that's your one fiasco, don't worry about it and just quit selling dental and implants, because implant coverage with dental doesn't really exist. You may get a little help with this, or you may get a little help with that, but it does not truly exist. So quit trying to sell dental to cover implants.
Okay.
The only codes I ever really run into that sometimes can be problematic are actually like wisdom teeth. And then, of course, the missing tooth claws can sometimes be an issue with carriers. Most of the other ones we don't have much trouble with besides implants. So implants, wisdom teeth, because wisdom teeth can be considered a simple extraction, or it can be considered a surgical extraction, depending on exactly how they're getting it done. And a lot of times the simple extraction will be covered under basic care, where the surgical extraction is covered under major care. And a lot of times major care is not covered until you're a year into the policy. So these are the things that you need to be aware of, especially when you're selling dental. A lot of plans will have waiting periods for the first year, or if they do cover the first year in majors, it's a much smaller percentage than it will be in year 2 or 3. So those are the key things you really need to look at when you're selling dental. And I personally try not to sell the dental plans that actually will cover majors in the first year. Because if they're willing to take a 20% coverage on the first year because they got something to get done, they ain't keeping that policy once it's done. They're using it like a coupon. They're going to pay for it one time. They're going to get the 20% and they're canceling it. That does you no good. I always pitch the products that have a year wait on majors, and my dental retention is much higher. My team in the office, they do them, and most of them don't, and the retention on their dental is crap. I'll be quite frank.
Okay.
So if you actually want a long-term dental client, sell the plan with the wait period, because if they actually take the plan, they plan on keeping it and using it, and not just using it for the quick coupon.
Yeah, okay.
You'll end up upside down on dental with chargebacks if you get everybody on the plan that does nothing but uses it once and then cancels it.
Okay. All right, great information. Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. Any other questions before we jump off? All right. Well, some of y'all I know are still technically on vacation. I have a few carrier reps that are like, we're not coming back to work till Monday. Leave me alone. So for those of you still on vacation, I will let you go, and you go enjoy the rest of your opening week at home, and we will see you all next week. And do your
Thank
paperwork
you.
that I emailed you.
Okay.
Thank
Happy New
you.
Year.
Bye, Rebecca. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.